All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Bonn Place Brewing Company, and they are out of Easton, Pennsylvania, and this is their Skootch. So they're calling this a double pale ale that comes in at 7.4% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed time of review. This can is approximately 1 month old, and I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine and fellow BeerTuber, Matt, over at Massive Beer Reviews for hooking me up with this one. Posted a link in the description box to Matt's channel, although if you follow my channel, you probably follow Matt, so might be unnecessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I think Matt gave this one to me, and that's because I hung out at Matt's house for the 2019 East Coast BeerTuber Palooza, and at the end of the entire get-together, I had a cooler that a lot of people threw a bunch of different beer in, and I had actually 2 beers from Bonn Place, this one and another one called Mooey, I believe, and I know Matt loves Bonn Place, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that gave me these beers. If not, the other culprit would be Keith. But regardless, I want to thank Matt for an awesome, absolutely awesome weekend. And I want to thank everyone else that was there. Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews, Sean and Mike over at Nerd Sense, Joe from NEPA Beer Reviews, well, the now defunct, works at River Horse now, and Keith. Keith was there, and Keith brought some awesome beer. So if this is Keith's beer or Matt's beer, doesn't matter. I thank both of you. And yeah, it's going to be hopefully a good time. I've heard good things courtesy of Matt of Bonn Place, and this one sounds pretty good. So they say double pale ale, and then on the label it says NEDPA. So is that a New England double pale ale? I think it is. It also says Skootch is a hazy, full-flavored double pale ale brewed entirely with Mosaic and Huell Melon hops. So enjoy fresh from the can or in your favorite glass. I'm going to do that. Got the Voodoo Brewing Company Tiku, and we're gonna crack it open and give it a pour. So like I said, right around, it's just over like approximately a month old. It's like 2 days over a month old. We should be fine. Let's give it a pour. So yeah, that pours out like a New England style IPA, or I guess double pale ale. What the hell is really a double pale ale? I guess it's a bigger pale ale, but isn't that an IPA? I don't know, maybe not. You see double pale ales occasionally. It's just like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that pours out like this really pulpy looking orange juice. Might be a little darker on camera, but yeah, orange honey color, about a 2-finger of a cream colored, really creamy looking head. That looks beautiful. It looks like a New England style double pale ale, if I do say so myself. Let's get a nose. Ooh, that's really nice. Could be my mind playing tricks on me, but I'm getting a little bit of melon, probably from the Hüll Melon. It's just like a little bit of like a honeydew, closer to the whiter part of the honeydew, like the rind, the pithiness, I guess it'd be the pith, but like closer to the rind, the white part, not the actual flesh of it. Pretty big citrus characters. Tangerine and orange, a little bit of ruby red grapefruit. A little more, see, so this has a little bit of a fleshy kind of fruit to it, like not only the honeydew, but like a little papaya as well. Has a decent malt bill to it, like a big like white bread, almost bread, white bread, slightly crackery malt base. There's a little bit of like an acidic, like, so I mentioned this before about Equilibrium beers behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans. You get the Equilibrium, 2 Equilibrium beers. Same thing with Old Nation. Getting like the water nerd treatment. It's not overly like those 2 beers. Like it's not super like water nerd treatment-esque, but, or I should say it is water nerd treatment-esque, but it's not like, you know, it's not big, it's not impactful, but I can tell like there's something different going on here. There's like a little bit of an acidic twang to it. But yeah, that honeydew melon's really nice. Like the papaya too. Mosaic doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. Maybe the citrus coming from the Mosaic. I feel like the melon and the papaya and whatnot coming more from the Hüll Melon. Mosaic usually gives me like big blueberry. Not really getting that here. Maybe a sludge tight. I can barely even speak most days, but today's really bad. A slight touch of like a pineapple, almost guava-esque. When I say like the characteristics here give me that water nerd treatment, like the acidic vibe, I'm getting that like, it could be mistaken a little bit for like guava or something that's acidic, some kind of fruit. It smells pretty good though. Let's get into it. Cheers everyone, and thanks again, Matt, or Keith, or both. That mouthfeel is on point. Sons. Man, it's just a fun, it's just a, I want to say it's fun. It's just a good beer. As Matt likes to say, just good beer. It's good beer. It's good beer. It is a good beer. Medium bodied, the mouthfeel, soft, smooth, somewhat creamy. I think on Untapped, when I looked it up, this was way before I reviewed, like a week ago or something, maybe a couple weeks ago. I think they said they use a bunch of oats, and it's showing in the mouthfeel. Like this is really soft and smooth and creamy. That's an awesome mouthfeel. The taste, again, honeydew melon. And then again, it's closer to the rind. It's the white part. It's not the sweet part. It's like the slightly bittering part of the honeydew papaya. The acidic, like water nerd treatment I was getting in the nose didn't really carry over to taste. There is a little bit of like an acidic vibe here, but it's almost like a fresh guava or like a fresh citrus fruit, like a tangerine or a grapefruit or something. There's underlying that white bready, almost crackery malt basis here. You touch, I like caramel too. This honestly drinks like a bigger pale ale. So I actually get why they call it a double pale ale. Because this doesn't give me straight New England IPA characteristics. This is New England like pale ale characteristics, but they're bumped up a notch. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more of the malt, which is typical for me in a pale ale. But everything is, all flavors are subtle, but it's very complex still. It's hard to explain. It finishes semi-dry with a nice residual sweetness, but not overly sweet. This is not like a super sweet New England style anything. There's a little touch like low, almost low to moderate bitterness too on the back end. Almost like a citrus rind bitterness. As you can see, I'm throwing this back with relative ease. Wow, this is super drinkable. 7.4%, I can't tell you 7.4%. The only indication is the body, pretty much, and the mouthfeel just being that luscious. The mouthfeel is just fantastic. And the body being like medium, slightly higher side of medium, just as an indication. Like, I would honestly guess that this probably would approach like double IPA characteristics for me if I was doing it blind. This is really well made. I don't taste any alcohol from the 7.4%. The mouthfeel is bonkers. The actual flavors aren't like mind-blowing, but they're really nice, nuanced, and subtle. But there's a lot going on, like from that papaya to the honeydew to like the acidic citrus tones, like the ruby red grapefruit, the tangerine. There's a little bit of like that pineapple guava thing hanging around. So there's like, a half dozen fruits mixing in with that base malt component. And then over top of it, I didn't mention it, but I'm starting to get it on like the finish. I'm getting a pretty decent like herbaceous dankness that wasn't evident on the nose to me, but like in the taste, it's definitely there, and it's like omnipresent and all over the place, but never, it's not a habitual line stepper. It keeps itself reserved, but it's always there, and it's really nice, man. This is not, like I said, overly, I guess I want to take it back a little bit. I think this is a really complex beer, but in the most nuanced and subtle type of way. There's, 8 or 9 different things going on here, but nothing is just, punching me in the face, which I think speaks volumes of the fact that it is a double pale ale and not an IPA. So I don't know where I'm going with all this other than I really do dig this one. If I was just rating it on like the taste and the complexity and stuff, it'd probably get a high 4 out of 5. But I think Skootch from Bonn Place, I'm gonna give this a straight 4.25 out of 5 because that mouthfeel is fucking delicious. And it's a double pale ale. You don't see too many double pale ales, whether they technically exist or whatever you want to argue, the merits of a double pale ale to an IPA to a regular pale ale, whatever the case may be. This is a 7.4% New England style hop forward beer that is really fun and enjoyable. The mouthfeel is awesome. I'm drinking this with relative ease. This is a great summer beer too, because I could drink 2 or 3 of these. I'd be feeling good, but they'd be so refreshing and just tasty. So yeah, 4.25 out of 5 for Skootch from Bonn Place. Thanks again, Matt or Keith, for this one. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I have their Mooey, which is, I think, an English bitter, which will be a lot of fun to try because not a lot of American breweries just, throw out an English bitter and can it. So that should be a lot of fun. Price and availability. Matt, if you want to chime in and let me know the price of this one and availability, I imagine this one's probably $16 to $18 a 4-pack. That'd be my guess. Availability, probably brewery only. I don't think they probably see much distro, maybe some local bottle shops or whatnot, but I'd imagine they're probably quite small still and, just don't get a lot of distro. But if Matt, you want to chime in here and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Or if anybody else who drinks Bonn Place stuff would have an idea, feel free to post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this one. If you had this one before, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Until the next one, cheers.